everybody? Welcome to another episode of Robert Garcia Unfiltered. We had a very, very exciting weekend in Glendale, Arizona. You guys went 3-0 this weekend and also in Mexico City. But yeah, Bam Rodriguez became a 2-division unified champion and 3-time world champion at only 23 years old. Talk to us a little bit about that undercard, because I know Albert Gonzalez and Arturo Cardenas were also in there. What was it about those two that made you want to put them in that card?
Well, I think they're ready to get to that level. I have a lot of fighters in my team, and I always know which ones are the ones that are ready, and I start pushing them with different promoters or with the right promoter, or whichever it is. And in this occasion, I was able to work out a deal where we do this fight, but I get to get these two kids on the same undercard, and I think it was just a matter of them getting that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
They look sensational. They both shined. Everybody's calling me about them now. Everybody's asking me questions about them. Everybody wants to be part of them now, So it was awesome. They they both did great, and I'm very proud of them.
Has Eddie mentioned anything about having potential fights?
Well, I don't talk to Eddie. I always talk to Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney is their matchmaker. He's the one here in the United States. He's the one that I communicate with, and everything goes through him. He always, always fights hard for my fighters. He always pushes for my fighters. He's the one that, he's the reason why Matchroom even got Bam and signed by them, because of Kevin Rooney, and all of my fighters. He's always pushing because he knows I have real fighters.
He's really hands-on with Bam too. Like he's always been real like supportive of Bam since the beginning.
He has since the beginning, since before he even fought for them. He always knew Bam was great, and he tells me, Robert, I always told them, until they were able to put him in there, and then they, that was just the way everything started. But even the other kids too, he's always pushing for my guys. He knows boxing. He grew up in boxing. His dad was Mike Tyson's trainer, so he grew up going to all those big fights, and he knows his boxing. And he always tells me, I always tell them, about your guys and this and that. But there's so many fighters. Also, they also have to take care about a lot about fighters from England. That's where they're from. So obviously they want to get their fighters from their country to be out, be out on TV, to see, to be seen on worldwide DAZN and all that. So it's just part of the way it is, But every time I get a chance, and if they gave me the opportunity, I'm gonna put the ones that are ready, the best ones, and those two were definitely ready. Walk
us through their stoppage.
Well, look, it started off with Chop Albert Gonzalez. The kid, we've had 4 fights for him this year, all in small cards, our local shows here in San Bernardino. He's a very popular kid. He brings in a lot of people, but he could also fight. He's shown that in sparring against all the world-class fighters that I have in my gym. The kid could fight. The kid is very, very smart, very technical. It's a great counter puncher. Fights, stays on the inside, and right there makes the opponents miss and counter punches. And I knew he was, even though everybody told me he was in a tough fight, and they had to match him a little tough, because he's fighting on the zone on a big card, so they can't just put in a guy that's gonna go get knocked out in 30 seconds. Right. They put in a solid guy. That kid that he fought is solid, but he totally dominated the first round, and then knocked him out in the second. A nice, beautiful body shot, and I always kept telling, finish with the left to the body, and he did, and knocked him out. He looks sensational. I think that was a performance where
he made a statement,
where he makes a statement, and I started getting calls from different people in boxing. Who's that kid? Where'd you get him from? Does he have anything? Is he committed to any promoter? You know what I mean? It was just one of those performances.
And then Arturo, his opponent, the same thing. Also on the undercard, obviously we're just going to talk about our guys. There was obviously a lot of guys that came over from the UK. That was, one of their promotional things was the guys from the UK coming to America and stuff. They had a guy, Peter McCrail, I believe, the one that lost, he got knocked out. That was a big upset. The guy that he fought, the guy that beat him, O'Quinn, I believe is his last name, had a really, really close fight, a tough fight, went the distance with the guy that Arturo fought. So going into it, Kevin Rooney and the people we talked to from Matchroom were telling us, it's a good solid test for Cardenas. We'll see how he does. And he dominated. He starts off real slow. He also told us after the fight that going into the fight he was a little bit nervous. It was his first time on something like this where he's on TV. There's eyes on him. He's fighting an 8-rounder. So he was a little bit nervous. He started off slow, but he fights like that. He's real patient, real smart. By the end of the second round, he started to pick it up and completely dominated. After that, the third round was a beating. The fourth round was bad, and then the corner ended up stopping him. So people are going to be seeing a lot about Arturo Cardenas coming up because he's a really, really talented kid. He had a big amateur background. He's got a lot of power. He's really, really explosive. That's one of the things that draws attention to him, is how explosive he is. He's moving, he's light on his feet, stepping on, and out of nowhere he just stops and gives you like a 3-punch combination, but with power, speed. He's really, really explosive. So people are really gonna like what they see from Arturo.
Arturo is one of those kids that trains very hard, but comes from his family in Mexico, in Saguayo, Michoacan, where they grew up seeing the great Mexican fighters, and they want to be part of it.
Mhm.
His dad used to be Julio Cesar Chavez senior sparring partner. The dad knows a lot of boxing people from Mexico, and so they've been around boxing their whole life, and now being in our gym, being in there with being able to spar guys like Joshua Franco, Bam, and just to name those two. This kid's get the great sparring, and he sees what Bam is doing, and he's on the same card. So he was a little nervous the first couple of rounds, but he wants to be there. He wants to be the one headlining one day. Coming from being from Mexico, that they come with hunger. They want to accomplish. They want to be known. They want to make a good living for their moms. For that, that's what a lot of fighters right away think is, I want to buy my parents a house, stuff like that. We just have recently a champion that became champion, from Mexico, Divino, and look, I'm watching videos of him in Mexico. Everybody's exactly.
It's so nice.
So that's one thing that Cardenas, coming from Saguayo, Michoacan, he wants to be that one day, and he's going that direction, man. He's dedicated. He looks sensational, and talking about his opponent, when Kevin Rooney told me about the opponent, at first he kind of thought I wasn't going to take the fight because the kid was tough, and he told me, look, Eddie Hearn really likes this kid. We've used him before, and he puts up great fights. He's always in great fights. So he thought I probably wouldn't take it, but I said, perfect. I watched a few rounds of that guy. I said, let's do it. And look, it wasn't even competitive. It was a beating that Cardenas, that Cardenas gave that guy. It's just how good Arturo is. Arturo is very, 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 very talented. I think he's got a great future in boxing.
So we can expect to see good things from them in the next few years.
Definitely, man. Definitely. After these performances they had in the world, seeing them, like I told you, I got calls from different boxing people asking me about them. Obviously, we have to work out. Matchroom gave us that opportunity, so we have to figure something out with them. Obviously, that's that's the way things work. Obviously, if they're not interested, if they don't want to, well, then I'll find them something else. But this was the fight, the place, the card to be in, so they could show their talent.
Awesome. And now moving on to the main event, Jesse Bam Rodriguez became a unified champion in the flyweight division, and also a 2-division and 3-time world champion at only 23 years old. You guys have said it from the beginning, Bam is something special. Has he exceeded your guys' expectations, or how does that?
No, I think he's done what we expected him to do since the beginning. Since he turned pro at 17, since he was in my gym at 15, we already knew it. And I'm pretty sure there's interviews somewhere on there where that kid is 15 and we're talking about this kid is going to be special. And now he's showing it, at 23 already, 3-time champion of the world, 2-division, unified champion. That's pretty cool. At that age, becoming champion at so young, most of the managers, promoters, they'll take care of not like we're not taking care of them, but they'll pick the right opponents because they're just too young. We know how good Bam is. We know how talented he is. So that's why when they told us if we were crazy enough to take the fight in 1 week, less than a week notice against Cuadras, we said yes. They didn't think we were gonna do it. I said yes, we are, and they're like, "Are you sure, Robert? You don't have to talk to Jesse and his dad." I'm like, "Nope, make the fight happen. I know their answer."
Right.
And when I told them, their answer was yes, let's do it. And that was just the beginning. Look at him now. Now he's like you said, a three-time unified 2 division champion. That's unbelievable. That's really, that just says a lot about the kids. They trust us. They believe in us. They know we're gonna do and find what's best for them.
Yeah, I think even though, like my dad said, since he was 15, 16, 17 years old before he turned pro, we saw something special in him. I still think he's exceeded expectations because we understand the talent that he has. We have a lot of kids at the gym right now, young prospects that are really, really, really talented. Bam was one of those kids, super talented. Everybody saw that there was going to be something special in that kid. But the fact that he's been able to handle the pressure of the situations he's been in and the type of fights he's been in, I think that exceeds my expectations. When going into we'll just name the fights, going into the Cuadras fight, 1 week notice, steps up, says yes. He wasn't even getting ready for that amount of rounds. He was getting ready for a completely different opponent in a 10-round fight. And then he eight. I thought it was an 8-round. And then he steps up and fights and goes 12 full rounds, tough rounds. Moved up 2 divisions and fights the whole 12 rounds. That's something special. His first title defense, the fight that they offered with Srisike, is not something that I will be 100% honest. Me and Chepe were the ones saying we don't need to take that fight. Let's look for something else. We could get something easier. My dad, his dad, and Jesse and Bam himself all said no, let's take it. And then the way he performed, knowing in there that he is somebody that looks up to somebody like Chocolatito. That's one of his idols. That's one of his favorite fighters. That's a close friend of his now. The man that knocked him out. And the way he performed in that fight. Then now we move over to this one where it's something completely different, a completely different style. Somebody who talks trash the way he does. He's trying to get into Bam's head. He's making fun of, the way Bam dresses, the way he writes Instagram, the way he comments Instagram's messages on his girlfriend's page and tweets to her. And he just starts making fun of everything about Bam, just a bunch of different stuff. And the way he was so calm in the ring and the way he performed, that to me it's not something normal for somebody that age. And so it does exceed my my expectations.
It's so funny seeing him because he's so small, but he's a dog, like he's full game in there. But yeah, how you were mentioning Sunny talking like all this stuff before the fight. For the ones that haven't seen the Matchroom behind the scenes video, what was going on in that locker room?
Well, they didn't, obviously they didn't show the whole thing, they show whatever they want to put, and it was actually, I went in there I never go in there, I always send people. But this time I said, you know what, I want to go in there just so they could see me. And, and I know, right there, Sonny said, oh, I haven't been saying nothing. The moment I walked in, that was the first thing when I didn't want to shake his hand, because he went up to me. When I walked in, he went up to me and wanted to shake my hand. I said, don't shake my hand, man. You've been talking too much shit, so I don't want to shake your hand. And then he just went off. Oh, you guys, watch out for the water, because Robert might put something in the water. I'm like, come on, bro. See, you're accusing me of something that I don't do. And then he's like, well, I know what you did with Margarito's hammerus. So, he was just maybe trying to get in my head, but I told him, look, you're too young. You don't even know. I wasn't even involved with Margarito at that time, mentioned Victor Conte. I said, dude, Victor Conte's not even here. You guys don't even know who.
Yeah, because that was one of the things that he after the weigh-in, we have our friend Roger who Roger, I guess they thought it was Victor Conte, because he put something on social media right away where he posted, oh, Bam ran to his room, something about the IV drip right away, but he left Victor Conte downstairs, and it was fucking Roger. It was our friend Roger.
Look, you guys got to do your homework before you guys talk. I told him, do your homework. Then he said, oh, I don't know why Bam is with you. You're such a bad person. I don't know where he gets that from or whatever. He just tried to get me mad. That didn't get me mad. I was just laughing about that. So then his team got involved. The guy that fought, got involved.
Starboy,
yeah, that and I had to say what I had to say to them. I don't, after the fight, everybody was cool about it. Nobody gave us a hard time, but they were just trying to get into our head, I guess. Bringing up the Margarito Harris, like, come on, bro, you do your homework. Before you talk, to do your homework. But after the fight, everything was cool. It was just part of building up a fight, and I guess trying to get into our head,
Right.
thinking I'm gonna make a mistake. I did tell him, and one thing. There were some other guys in the locker room that got me when I said, you guys got to understand, there's levels to this, man. There's levels to boxing, and you guys are not in my level. And they all got mad. One was the big guy, I think it was like a bodyguard or something. I don't know. Try to get like really mad at me. I'm like, bro, I'm just telling you the truth, man. Just there is, and I guess, and I think everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it. There's no comparison. I just proved to everybody that I was right.
Given the fact that he was talking so much, did this win mean a little bit more to you guys?
Well, it felt really good. Obviously, it felt really good. I had plans also. After the fight, I want to tell him this, but nah, I didn't. After the fight, he totally changed, became such a great, he took his loss. He actually tweeted a few things, that was pretty funny. So he's a funny dude. He's a fun. Bam went up to him when he was getting stitched up. Bam went to give him his belt back, and they were talking, and Bam even told him, one thing is you're a funny dude. You're funny as hell. And he was just, he actually said he wants to come to our gym and get some sparring in our gym and all that. So he's cool. He's cool dude. His whole team was really nice to me after the fight. So it was just one of those fights where things get heated up. People say, they say things. He's trying to get into our head. We defend ourselves by also saying things that that maybe we don't mean to. There was a few things that I did mean, but there was a few things that maybe I wouldn't say to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just the way it was. They were also saying the same thing. We said the same thing. He says he didn't call me a cheater, but just by him saying, "Watch out for the waters. Watch your waters, because Robert might throw something in there." That's calling me a cheater.
Right.
And so didn't get to me, but it does. Of course, I want to defend myself.
Yeah, the win, I think, meant it. Sonny made the fight more meaningful to us, to Bam and stuff, with all that he was talking, everything he was saying. He made Bam train even harder. He made Bam the weight cut for this fight was really tough for Bam. The last time he made 112, it was also a tough weight cut, but obviously he's growing, he's getting bigger. And it was a tough weight cut. And I keep telling everybody, the only reason he made weight was because he wanted to prove and he wanted to beat Sonny with no excuses, with no, like, he pushed himself more than he would have against anybody else. If this fight would have been against Rey Martinez, against the other world champ Artem Delakian, if it would have been against one of those guys, I don't know if he would have made weight. I don't know if he would have, performed the way he did after the tough weight cut that he had. But because it was against Sonny, because of all the talk he was doing, saying Bam didn't want the fight, this is the only fight that Bam wanted. When we came down in weight, when the decision was made, 115 is going to be for Josh. Let Josh fight Chocolatito, Gallo Estrada, Ioka, and these guys. Bam will move down to 112. He can make 112. We always intended for Bam to hopefully become undisputed champ and, fight all the world champs, which Sonny's one of them. But he said, "Oh, you guys came down in weight. You guys didn't even fight me right away." Well, yeah. We also do stuff strategically. We plan stuff out ahead. The WBO title became vacant. If you fight for the IBF title, just the IBF title by itself, there's a rehydration clause. You're only allowed to gain a certain amount of weight the next day in the morning. If he would have just fought Sonny straight ahead, then we would have had that, and we don't want that. For what do we want to have rehydration clauses for? If Bam gains more than 10 pounds, he gets penalized, or he can't fight for the title, or he has to lose more weight. For what? So we went and fought for the WBO title. Then when you find a unification, IBF and WBO, that rule doesn't apply anymore. So Sonny was saying, "Oh, you guys did this. You guys were scared of me." In his mind, he was trying to pump himself up. "Oh, they were scared of me. They were scared of this." We had a plan the whole time. This was the plan. Now, obviously, we would have liked for him to go fight, Rey Martinez and the rest of these guys. But the way Rey pulls out of fights, the way the other guy doesn't even fights once a year and stuff, that Bam's going straight up to 115 after that. But But back to your original question, yeah, you know, this meant a lot more to Bam and meant a lot more to us because of all the stuff Sonny was saying, all the stuff he was, you know, accusing us of cheating and saying you guys do this with IV drips, and he even made a joke about that afterwards, which is hilarious. But yeah, all the stuff he was just saying, you know, it meant a lot more. You know, the joke that he said was he kept bringing up an IV drip, which, you know, I think that started because of Devin Haney gaining 25 pounds. And he said, you might as well just post a picture of you with an IV drip because nobody can gain 25 pounds from one day to the next. And then, you know, that was during fight week. And then after that, he just started saying all snack fighters, all this, all that. And then he, after the fight, you know, he had to go to the hospital. He had I think a fracture in his orbital bone. I could be wrong about where it was, but he had a fracture, and he put, how funny is this? I'm the one that ends up on an IV drip. So it was fucking.
He's a cool dude, man. He's hilarious. You know, you can't dislike this kid. But when he was saying that, you know, he did.
It got a little annoying. It did get a little bit annoying, but also because
I was in the locker room,
like weird shit.
You know, he started bringing up, you know, us cheating, and then he says, well, you know, why did you guys never wanted this fight? It took you guys more than 3-4 months to.
So Bam called him out right after.
Yeah, but he says it took you guys like 3 months to agree to the fight. I'm like, what do you think? I was supposed to agree to whatever they offered. You know, my job is to negotiate. Why to? As soon as they don't, well, then your manager or whoever it is didn't do their job. I'm doing my job as a manager for my fighter.
Right.
You know, so he was saying that we didn't want to fight him, but you know, look, now I'm sure he has a different story to say. You know, the beating Bam put on him, you know, was pretty bad. He even said that he's never thought he would be in a fight like this, you know, where he took a beating, you know, the way he did. But after all, you know, that's his character, that's the way he is, and that's the way he built the fight. But he's a good man, you know. He's, you know, I don't wish him back.
And all that stuff. Whenever we talked about the fight leading into it, whenever we would do these podcasts and talk about it, I always said that I really liked the way Sonny was talking and hyping up the fight, because you need guys like that. You need you know, Chocolatito, when he was coming up, he's not a big talker either, but then he fights Carlos Cuadras, and Cuadras makes the fight bigger because of the smack talk he was doing. He was real funny with it, and you know, so you need guys like this. It's a small division, you know. You need characters. You need guys that are able to build up fights. Bam's not going to talk trash. Bam, people have been attracted to watching Bam because of the style of the way he fights. And then you add to that a character like Sonny Edwards with the style that he brings, the flashy movement, the combinations and stuff. It made for a big event, which we appreciated, because, you know, we needed Sonny to make a big event like this. We needed his character and his, you know, the way he talks and stuff to build up, you know, the event like this.
So walk us through that fight. So it was a competitive fight. Bam started getting a little cocky, and you guys got mad at him, and then he came back, he adjusted himself and came out with the knockout.
Well, I don't think he got cocky. I think he just got too confident.
Yeah.
Caught up in the moment.
To a point where he felt so like, I got this, you know, I'm not risking anything. But, you know, there was that one round where at the end of the round, he sticks his tongue out and he gets hit with a couple punches, but they were not really solid punches. But it does, you know, we just tell him, why are you doing this, you know? And he told us, I'm just having fun. Right. I'm enjoying it. But I don't know, well, you still got to continue, you know, winning and putting beating.
You got half the fight to go.
Things like that, punches like that could steal all around. You know, you don't know what the judges are their scorecard. We knew and we thought we were clearly winning, but one judge was from England, the other one was from Poland, I think, or something. Poland, but that lives in the UK. So those two could have been against us. You know what I mean? So you don't know. So that's why we told him, you know, we weren't mad at him either. We just don't do that. You know, take it a little more serious. Don't get too confident, because you never know. You know, that's the reason we did. But you know, besides that, fuck, man, I think that was one of his best performances. A lot of people are saying that was his best performance turn out because of the opponent that was in front of him. Sonny is not an easy opponent. Sonny will be champion again. He will be champion again, you know, especially if obviously we're gonna vacate the titles. He'll pick up one of those titles easy, and I think he'll probably beat Rey Martinez, and he'll beat.
I 100% think that he would beat Rey Martinez, and he would beat the other world champ. I think he said that he can make 108. I think he beats most of the guys at 108 too. I think Sonny's you know, Bam made it look the way he did, but that just Bam's special. Bam's not the rest of these guys. He's not Rey Martinez. He's something special. That's why he made it look like that. Sonny, the defensive, you know, the one of his best attributes is his defense, his movement and stuff. And Bam landed, I think going into like the 8th round, he was landing 60% of his punches, which is something insane. But getting back to, you know, what you were asking about the how the fight was going itself, I think one of the things one of the smartest things that well, you know, we do at the gym is we've been through so many fights, so many big fights, so many different kinds of moments, different situations and stuff, but we learn from them. You know, we have 4 coaches at the gym, and then you also include my grandpa as the 5th person, who've all been through different experiences in boxing. You know, Felipe was a fighter, my dad was a fighter, me and Chepe, you know, trainers, my grandpa a trainer. Everybody's grown up in boxing, everybody different situations, different experiences. We've all worked corners by ourselves together. One of the things that I think that helped us, that, you know, all the situations we've been in helped us, was prepare for this fight. We look back at a fight that we had between Errol Spence and Mikey. Leading into the fight, we were in a similar situation that Sonny's in. We thought Mikey was the better boxer and he could move and he would be able to outbox Errol. We thought Errol was going to use his strength and punching power to walk Mikey down and try to stop him, and we thought he was going to come, you know, straight forward, and Mikey was going to be able to move. Errol used a lot of distance. He used his jab. He put smart pressure. It was different than what we expected him to do. And he himself, in one of the interviews that he said, he's like, these guys are talking about me like I'm Antonio Margarito. And I think for this fight, we went into it the way they did, the way Errol and them did for that fight. We learned, you know, obviously you learn from those experiences. And we told Bam, this guy thinks you're just going to walk straight in. He thinks he's fighting Felix Alvarado again. He keeps talking about how you're going to put pressure and this and that, and he's going to be able to move. And we told him, you're going to use your jab, you're going to use your distance, and you're going to, you know, use your timing, and we're going to control the fight with pressure, but at a long distance. And then later in the fight, if we can break him down, we'll break him down. But we're going to control the ring, and we're going to, you know, beat him with your IQ. And I think Bam showed that in the first few rounds. Bam was controlling him with a great jab. Bam, you know, everybody thinking that Sonny was going to have a better jab than him, or Bam has a great jab, one of the best jabs, and he showed it. You know, from southpaw to orthodox, it's really hard to land your jab, and Bam landed, I don't even know what percentage of his jabs, and controlled the fight, and then ended up stopping him, you know, later in the fight when my dad asked him to, you know what, put your hands up, guard tight, and let's walk him down, block, and start working the body and dig into those power shots. After like the 4th round, that's all he did. He had his high guard. You know, he would still be smart with his jab, but then he started just walking him down, and Sonny had no answer for that, because Sonny didn't have an answer the first 3 rounds for Bam using his jab, Bam using his distance. After that, he started to lose his head. He started to fight Bam on the inside. He started to want to trade with them, and that's when we knew this fight's over. After the 4th round, it was completely over.
Even tells the judges too. I mean, the commentators.
That was in the 8th. That was right. That was he stopped him after the 9th. In the 8th round, he hurt him. He looks over to the judge, to the officials, and to the commentator, and he tells him he's done. We knew that was already later. By the 3rd, 4th round, we knew he was done. We, you know, early in the 3rd round, we already knew we got him. This guy's already, you know,
I want to bring up again, like you just mentioned. I don't know why his whole team, because that's one thing they brought up in the locker room. You know, they brought up, even the trainer, you know, they brought up saying that they're gonna box the shit out of us, that Bam's just a brawler. I don't know why they started thinking that. And I think a lot of, even probably all the promoters and everybody, obviously from Action, they thought, you know, oh, Bam's a brawler, so he's gonna chase him around, and this guy's gonna box him, you know, and that's why they thought it was gonna be maybe a closer fight or a win for Sonny. I don't know why they got that. You know, Bam is not a brawler. He fucking boxes really good, uses his jab, his angles, his pivots, you know, maybe because of the last fight where he had to chase the guy around, but it was just, the guy was just too tall, and that guy was really running. So, you know, but he was still doing it smart.
There's a difference between guys trying to box. Like Sonny was going to go into this fight. He was coming to win, which is different than sometimes you get opponents, like you get some opponents that in the first few rounds, they see how tough the fight is. In the case of Bam's last opponent, and he just dedicated most of the fight to keeping Bam on the outside and to not get knocked out. And there's a difference between that and then Sonny, who we knew Sonny is gonna box, but he's gonna take chances because he's here to win. He's not here to just, oh, I'm just here to survive. I'm here to not get knocked out. You know, I'm just happy that I'm here. You know, no, Sonny was there to win. Sonny was there to win the fight, and he really believed he could beat Bam. So there's a difference between those kind of things. So they saw a certain style that Bam, they thought Bam was gonna do one thing, and we knew Bam had the ability to do something else. And like I said, we've been through so many situations already. My dad, he's been coaching for as many years. I haven't been as coaching for as many as him, but all of us together, the four of us plus my grandpa, the five of us, there's a lot of different situations we've all been in that we put together, and we came up with that game plan that this is what we're gonna do and this is how we're gonna beat him. He thinks we're gonna put pressure on him. He thinks we're gonna try to walk him down, and we're not at first. Later in the fight, we'll do it, but at first we're just gonna keep at it. And Bam, for all the stuff that Sonny was doing and saying and trying to get in his head, Bam 100% is. He is one of the easiest guys to work with, because he 100% listened to everything. He didn't, get caught up in the moments and little spurts that he would, got a little bit out of character, but he's something special, man, because a 23-year-old to go into a moment like that and to perform the way he did is something completely, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, he's only 23 years old. What do you see him accomplishing in the next few years?
In the next few years is
it's we're not gonna rush it. It's a matter of time. But this kid, I've said he's gonna be a multiple division champion. He already is a 2 division. I think he could be 4, 5, maybe even 6 division champion. But obviously, when the time is right, when the time comes, we're not rushing it. He's only 23. Imagine when he's 26, 27, 28. Man, I just can't wait.
Right.
I can't say I can't imagine, because I do see things like that, because he's that special. I just can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can say.
I think of the near future, I think I could be specific and say that I think Bam will next year fight. If you give me, the 2 fights that I think we could easily make for Bam next year is Gallo Estrada. Obviously if they stay in the weight class, because I've heard, about both these guys that they could potentially move up in weight, and, they might look for they're both, I think one's 3, one's a 4 division champ. They might look for another division title. But I think he could easily get Gallo Estrada early next year, and then he could finish off the year fighting Ioka. I believe Bam will beat both those guys, and he'll start to cement himself as a Hall of Fame fighter at 24 years old next year. He's gonna turn 24 next January. But if you look at his resume and the guys that I believe he could get those fights, because Gallo Estrada was there at the fight. There's no other, he wouldn't be at the fight if he didn't think there was a chance that he could fight one of these guys. He was there to scout. He was there to see Bam. He was there to see Sonny. And if that fight gets made, I believe Bam beats him. And then I believe, with the relationship that we have with Ioka's team, and my dad handled most of the negotiating for his fights with Josh. Those are easy fights to make. I don't think they're too difficult. And I believe those are winnable fights. And after that, then the sky's the limit for Bam.
In the post-fight press conference, they had mentioned that Estrada wasn't too impressed with Bam, but I saw videos saying that he was. So I don't know what to believe.
They did say that. I didn't see anything, but somebody brought it up and said Estrada wasn't too impressed with your performance. Well, that's he also believes in himself, and he believes he's better. So that I'm not mad at him. I don't have anything against him. I do think that Bam could beat him, yeah. But I also know that it's not going to be an easy fight. It'll be a great fight. It's going to be, if it does happen, which we hope it does next year. It'll be a great fight. It'll be a very, very good fight. That'll be great. Fuck, man. I just can't wait for that fight to happen.
The thing with Estrada is he seems to be Marquez to Canelo with him and Bam. He's when Bam stopped Rungvisai, he says, "Oh, I heard he was sick. I heard this. I heard that." He always wants to discredit everything Bam does. Then Bam fights these 2 tough kids from Mexico, and Bam won the fight unanimous decision, both of them. He won both fights unanimous. But because he didn't have the performance he did against Rungvisai or now against Sonny Edwards, Gallo Estrada right away wants to say, well, yeah, see what he does with somebody, this and that, when he himself always has a fucking terrible performance. I don't know what the fuck what is he even talking about when he fights a Chocolatito? you see the performance that he gives, right? You see how great he fights and the tough fights that he's in with a legend like Chocolatito. But then he'll fight lesser known opponents and he has completely shitty performances.
Yeah,
So
the
he,
fight he had against the kid that Nacho Beristain trained. What's his name?
RG Cortez.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, that's what
very
I'm saying. So like, does he think he looked great against those guys, or you know what I mean? He himself should understand that a world-class fighter, when he has another world-class fighter in front of him, you rise to the occasion, you train harder, you fight better, you know, you're more focused than when you have a lesser known opponent. And okay, like I said, sometimes those guys aren't even there to win, they're just there. Once they see the first few rounds they can't win, they're there to survive. And Gallo's been in those situations. I don't know why he discredits everything Bam does, but like I said, he's to Bam what Marquez is to Canelo. They just don't want to give him credit. Like no matter what, if Bam could have gone in there, knocked him out of the first round, he would have said, "See, yeah, it's because Sonny's nothing special or whatever." So I mean, that I don't know what his problem is, but he's gonna have to get in the ring with Bam to find out, you know, that he's actually something special.
Little backtracking. This is kind of random, but I thought it was kind of funny. But Sunny had a 21-0 on his shorts, and that actually ends up being 2-1-0, where Bam
And he
is.
did he all yeah, he did he tweeted about that. He posted a bunch of stuff, and like I said, all this stuff is to get into Bam's head, but it was all it started to get a little like Bam would look at it like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He had a picture of Bam on the back of his trunks in the Matrix. He had a picture of Bam, the 210 Bam's area code, and that would have been his record if he would have won 21-0. He brought up at the press conference stuff about Bam's not even staying at his in the camp house anymore. He's got his own Airbnb now. He brought up a meet and greet that Bam was supposed to have at an O'Reilly's body shop here in Riverside, where he said, "How come I never saw any pictures? What, you didn't show up?" And like stuff that you're just like, what the fuck does it have to do with anything? Like,
and they were. I just noticed too. I watched the fight on TV, but all his corner, they were already wearing unified champion shirts.
yeah, he had no those he was wearing them all week. He had team jackets, team shirts, team everything. They all said unified world champ, like stuff like that. It's just, you know, whatever. But yeah.
Well, those were all my questions for Bam, and then we kind of want to we do want to give a shout out to Rayo Valenzuela. He had an explosive knockout, knocking out Chris Colbert in the 6th round in a WBA title eliminator. We didn't see the fights, obviously, because we were at Bam's, but talk to us a little bit about how he looked in camp and how he was able to be so dominant.
We didn't see the fights because we were at Bam's fight on Saturday. And then Sunday, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, we won 3-0. Me, my dad, and my mom, we went to Mexico City to go see America win the final. So we haven't had a chance to actually get home. Then we got home today in the morning and, you know, to the gym to go train the kids and pros and stuff like that. So it's been real busy. So we actually haven't been able to get to the Showtime fights. We will get to the Showtime fights. We'll talk about the card and then it being the final Showtime card, and we'll talk about some of our favorite memories, you know, about the Showtime stuff later on. But then I'll let you talk about Rayos. We were watching Rayos. We made sure somebody in the locker room put up Rayos fight, and we watched Rayos fight live.
It was awesome. That knockout he did was unbelievable. You know, he trained hard in the gym. He had great sparring. We knew he was in great shape. You know, his trainer did a great job. I was happy. You know, I was just happy that he was in my gym and trained there. My guys all helped him in sparring. He even sparred Mikey. He sparred everybody in the gym. You know, so it was awesome. You know, I'm very happy for him. You know, obviously, I don't know if he'll come back to train in my training camp. You know, for his future fights, but he's more than welcome. He knows that's his house, and we're all going to be there to support him. I was very happy, especially the way he did it, the way he finished it. It was awesome. You know, after being in a controversial decision in the first time, now, you know, he went and did what he had to do, and it was cold. It was nice. You know, obviously we don't.
And then the picture he took.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
After that.
Not even tell that how fucking badass he is. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And one thing also, you know, when they did that bet.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, that's classic.
When they did that bet also, you know, in the
50K, right?
The 50,000 after the fight, he actually kind of waved it. He could have said, "Fuck you, you owe me my fucking." Yeah, 50K. He kind of waved it, go have a Merry Christmas enjoy your family. And this go, we got to do it again. Man, he just saved you $50,000, man. Fucking thank him. Thank him and tell him, you know, I never want to see you again. I never want to see you again.
And one of the things too is before they moved the Showtime fight, originally it was supposed to be like December 2nd or the 9th. We had all we were supposed to have, I forgot who was supposed to fight the same day in another card, I believe. And then we were kind of thinking
It was Tanahara when Tanahara was going to fight
yeah,
us.
so Tanahara was supposed to fight. So it was supposed to be December 2nd originally. Rayo had told us December 2nd or the 9th or whatever it is. Yeah, the 9th. December 9th. And we had said, okay, who's gonna go with Tanahara? Like, who's gonna work the corner? And my dad gave us like, okay, it'll be me. Obviously, his dad works the corner, and we need one more. So whoever wants to go or whatever, you know. And I had said, well, if I don't go with Tanahara, I was like, I think I'll go, you know, I'll go with Rayo. I was like, they hadn't even asked us yet, you know, hey, can you guys help us, or can you guys send somebody to help in the corner? They didn't ask us any of that, but I wanted to go to the fight. I had said, okay, you know what? If you guys are gonna handle Tanahara, I'll go with Rayo, and just to be there, you know what I mean, just to go to the fight. And then they moved it to the 16th. And then that's when everything changed. And we just said, none of us, like the four of us, and they understood too, like, you know, obviously it being BAM and stuff, we weren't going to miss. There was no way.
But you know what? Rayo did ask me, hey, Robert, you know, I know you
And
guys.
that was later. He did end up asking you, hey,
Yeah, he did ask me. He says, you know, I know you guys are obviously going to be with BAM and such a big heart, but is there any chance one of you guys could go and help me? I asked the guys. I did ask the guys. I asked Chip and Felipe, obviously was they wanted to be there with BAM, so he understood too. And then one thing that he also told me, that which was made me I feel a little more comfortable, when he told me, look, I talked to Benavides, looks like things are cool. He's gonna be there with me in the corner. So that was cool. I know Benavides has done a great job with his kids, with you know, with David and also with Rayo. So, you know, I was happy that Benavides was able to be there for him. But yeah, that was a great victory. Knockout, great victory for him. You know, very happy. Yeah, definitely very happy.
So can we expect to see you guys working together in the future?
I don't know. Well, we didn't work together. They
well,
just
like to the
trained
gym,
him. Oh, he's more than welcome to come for every training camp if that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Sparring, he knows he'll get the best sparring, the best sparring out there. He did a lot of the training with Charles also. He was in great shape. He did the condition with Charles, the sparring with our guys. You know, he never said, I don't want to spar that guy, or can I spar this guy? Can I? No, game. It was always whichever one. I said, okay, this guy's sparring you today, and he was there. He never questioned who he was sparring. Mm-hmm. He sparred whoever I put him in there with, and that's, you know, that's the way Benavides is too. You know, Benavides, they come to the gym, they don't care who they're sparring. They just want 5 guys lined up, because that's what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? So that's the way we are too. You know, a lot of our fighters spar. If they're fighting a lefty, they go through training camp sparring right-handers. They just need to be in great shape and listen to the trainers, to the corner, so they could follow instructions. And obviously, yes, we try to do our best to find the best sparring partners out there. But if we use right-handers, when you're fighting a lefty, you're still going to get the work. You're still going to be in great shape. And that was Rayo. Rayo did the same thing. He was in great shape, and I'm very happy for him.
Awesome. Well, that was it, you guys. Do you guys want to touch up on anything for next show? Because I know Inui's going to be fighting.
Yeah, so this weekend is the card in Saudi Arabia. The heavyweights. You have Anthony Joshua headlining Deontay Wilder's on the undercard. You have Dimitri Bivol on the card. You got a stacked card on pay-per-view, so make sure you guys buy that and enjoy the pay-per-view. Like I said, we'll be doing maybe that episode we'll be talking about the Showtime card, the end of Showtime and stuff like that. Then we have a New Ace fight next week. We'll do another one for that. And then we'll do one specific episode where we kind of talk about our end of the year awards and stuff like that. Yeah, our favorite fights of the year, who we think should be trainer of the year, fighter of the year, prospect, knockout, stuff like that. So we'll be doing we'll have a good like 3-4 more episodes before the year end. So make sure you guys tune into that.
A little self-promotion for myself. I did go to the fights this weekend and I did some interviews. So if you guys can go to my page, it's x.tinasports, and check those out. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that was it for this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and then we'll see you guys next time.